Alright, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be going over the Druid and the best way to level as a Druid in the new WoW Hardcore Classic servers that are coming out in a little over a week. And we'll be going over, just a general overview of the class and what spec is best for leveling, what the best professions are, all that sort of thing. So, if you like this kind of content, be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz, and we'll just jump into it. So, strengths and weaknesses of the Druid. One of the weaknesses, for sure, is that from level 1 to 10, you don't have any of your forms unlocked yet. So you are stuck in caster form, which means that it's the worst levels for a Druid to level, hands down. It's going to be slow, you're going to have to drink a lot, it's just not going to be a lot of fun. Other weaknesses of the class are that, that you have your different forms that will let you emulate other classes, right? So your bear form will be like you're playing a warrior, except just not quite as good, usually, at the end game. So then you'll have your cat form, which is like playing a rogue, but again, not quite as good in a lot of ways. So that is something to keep in mind. As far as weaknesses go, though, that's really all I can think of. One weakness, one of the worst weaknesses I find with the Druid is that you can't drink potions while you're in an animal form. So if you're in bear form trying to kill a group of enemies and you hit a potion, it's going to knock you out of your bear form. Drink the potion, you'll have to jump back into bear form. All your rage is gone. Or all your energy in cat form is gone. Either way. And another one is that you can't really talk to any NPCs while in your animal forms. So just get used to that. It's annoying, but it happens. So, that being said, let's go over the strengths of the class. They are one of the fastest leveling classes in the game. And the reason for that is because of your animal forms. Starting at level 10, you get bear form. And what that means is you can kill mobs faster in bear form than you can in your caster form. And the added bonus of it is while you're in bear form, your mana is regenerating the whole time you're in bear form. So you kill a mob, if you're about half health and you feel like you need to heal, you pop out of bear form, cast a couple heal over times on yourself, and drop right back into bear form. Now you're full health, and your mana is going to regenerate while you're fighting the next mob or the next two mobs. So that next time you're low on health, you're ready to pop out of bear form and heal again and just keep going. So it ends up being one of the fastest leveling classes because of that, and also because at level 20, when you get your cat form, if you're going down the feral tree, which I highly recommend for leveling, at level 20 there are 2 talents that you need to put into the feral tree that will increase your movement speed in cat form by, I believe it's 30% once you have 2 talent points into it. So that's going to make your cat form, which is, generally what you'll be using once you get cat form, it's going to make it faster. It'll be like playing a hunter with aspect of the cheetah on, but, you just keep going and you don't get dazed when you get hit. So, all that together just makes the Druid one of the fastest levelers in the game. Then throw in the fact that level 30 you're going to get travel form, which will increase your movement speed by 40%. Granted, you're not going to need it for that many levels before you get them out, but until you do get them out, every little bit helps, right? So, strengths, though, if you're running around in cat form, you've got really good DPS on single target. You're going to be able to kill mobs fast with cat form. If you get in trouble and accidentally pull more than you meant to and have 2 or 3 mobs on you, you can drop into bear form and still get the job done. If you think you're still going to die, you can jump out of bear form, put a couple heal over times on yourself, drink a potion, right back into bear form. You're really tanky in bear form. There's just a lot going for the Druid. All in all, it's one of my favorite classes in WoW Classic. Just hands down. Going back, I did just think of one of the downsides for the Druid, and I don't know that it applies all that much to WoW Classic Hardcore because it is going to be an endgame consideration. But once you get to the endgame, if you are trying to tank as a Druid, gear gets pretty scarce. One of the best in slot shoulder items you can get for Prebis is actually out of the Sunken Temple for your shoulders, just because it has a lot of armor on that, and you really don't have many better options for shoulders at that point if you're tanking. So that is a consideration, and also you're not going to get just all that much gear out of Molten Core that's going to help you tanking wise. So it'll be later in Blackwing Lair that you really start getting good gear for tanking as a Druid. So if you decide to go down that route and you are going to be tanking raids, just be aware gear sucks for Molten Core, and yeah, out of dungeons it's just not the best. Let's talk about professions real quick. For the Druid, I don't really feel like you're as limited as some other classes. Normally I say hands down alchemy is the best profession for playing hardcore for most classes, but with the Druid I feel like they have enough bonuses going for them just from the class being so good that you don't really have to I don't really feel like it's necessary as much to go into alchemy as you're leveling. Just because you are also limited by not being able to drink the potions and elixirs while you're in one of your animal forms. But being able to make your own elixirs is, really handy. So, whatever y'all think about that. But I will say that, skinning and leatherworking is a very solid option for a feral Druid as you're leveling. So you can make your own gear and armor kits as you're leveling. Engineering is probably a decent option. I don't particularly like it myself, but that's just a personal preference, and I feel like the Druid, when it comes to professions, is pretty much personal preference. You can get really solid bonuses out of a lot of different professions for the druid. So that's about all I've got to say about the druid, other than you know, I would say one tip would be to put your different forms on a hotkey that you use a lot. I've got it on my side mouse buttons. I usually put my cat form and bear form on the side mouse buttons so I can swap back and forth as much as I want. But yeah, that's just me. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the talents and what I recommend doing as you're leveling. So number one, Feral is going to be the fastest leveling spec, hands down. There's no argument about it. It's just the best. You can try balance if you really want to, but you end up spending so much time drinking that it's just not really worth it. So we'll start out at level 10. We're going to put 5 out of 5 in ferocity. That's going to reduce the cost of your maul, swipe, claw, and rake abilities by 5 for rage or energy. Just going to make it easier for you to kill stuff. Now on the next tier, I just generally go straight into thick hide. Pick up all 5. Now at this point you can get feral charge or you can get feline swiftness. Me personally, I like getting feline or feral charge because this is the only interrupt you're going to get with a druid. Disregarding the stun, the single target stun you get while in bear form, but this is going to be the only way you can interrupt spellcasters with the druid is feral charge. After I pick up feral charge, I like to pick up feline swiftness. I know it really hurts to put off getting sharpened claws and these talents down here as well for a couple more levels, but the movement speed increase is definitely worth it early game. So at that point, we're going to put 3 points in sharpened claws. Now, on a hardcore server, you're generally going to be playing solo, so I highly recommend getting Blood Frenzy first, put 2 in that, and then go back and pick up Primal Fury. Now at this point, I like to pick up Fairy Fire Feral so that I can pull mobs from farther away without changing my form. So once you get that though, Predatory Strikes is a must, and then you'll have one more point that you need to put in. I put it in Savage Fury. Then you've got Heart of the Wild, so go ahead and put all 5 points into that. Leader of the Pack is huge for a druid, and then just a personal preference, I like to pick up Savage Fury. So at this point, there's a few different options. I do at some point like to pick up all 5 points in Feral Instinct. If you end up tanking, you will need this, but the reduced chance to enemies have to detect you while prowling is also a really nice bonus of getting these talents. But at this point, I would recommend going over to the balance tree. Now you can go into Improved Wrath if you want. Personal preference, I like Nature's Grasp, so I grab that. Do whichever one you feel like. 5 out of 5 in Natural Weapons is just really good for a Feral Druid as well. And then you've got Omen of Clarity. At this point, once you have the Feral tree locked, all the way down to the leader of the pack. Now that you have Omen of Clarity, life just becomes so much better. Just can't tell you. So that's as far as I go in the balance tree. At that point, I would go back and pick up Feral Instinct, and then move over to the Restoration tree for your last 3 points, and put them in Fury. That's going to give you a 60% chance when you shift into bear or cat form to get either 10 rage or 40 energy. And I generally find that 60% is enough. So so I got it. Didn't get it the second time. I got it the third time. Didn't get it the fourth time. Didn't get it the fifth time. So, I mean, it's kind of hit or miss, but I find that if I shift into bear form or cat form and I didn't get the bonus from Fury, I just pop back out and go back into the form again, and then I'm ready to fight. Usually it'll give me the rage or the energy, whichever one I'm looking to get. So stat priority as a feral druid while you're leveling, definitely agility and stam. That's really all you need. If you get gear that has an intellect on it as well, or you have a piece that is significantly better with intellect and stam on it as opposed to, agility and stam, yeah, it's worth taking. More intellect just means you have a larger mana pool, and the bigger pools you're going to be able to survive. But yeah, definitely agility and stam. Mainly because agility is going to give you everything. It's going to give you attack power. It's going to give you crit. It's going to give you a chance to dodge, and then on top of that, it's going to increase your armor as well. So, yeah, agility is by far the most important stat for you to get as a druid. Agility and stam, I would go just half of each. Anything you can get of the monkey while you're leveling is generally good. So that's about all I've got for you on the druid. I would love to hear your comments on the druid, and if I forgot anything. But just leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz if you like the video, and I will see you in the next one.